Hey, everybody!
Hey, y'all. Hey.
I can't even say it like I normally do. Welcome to The Perfect Pair with your two favorite people. I am Tangerine.
And I'm Marty.
And today is a day.
Today is a day.
Today is a day. We are here. If I had a PTO, I probably would have took it. I'm not feeling that well.
She's not, folks.
But because I have so much fun on this show, and I'm sure sitting next to one of my favorite people in all my world, I will be feeling better. And we have a special guest today that I'm so excited for. So,
yes,
welcome to The Perfect Pair.
You gotta switch it to the put it on the chat. Is it on the chat? Why the chat not coming up?
Because I forgot to put it on.
That's
there.
okay, folks. Y'all know how we do. It's a live situation.
Y'all know I forgot something.
It's okay.
So, but
we here to help each other.
Okay. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So let's get started. I got to look at the agenda today too, and I'm just telling y'all, I do have a sweat rag. Well, I have a perspiration cloth. Yeah. So we just keeping this together. All right. So let's get started with my favorite part of the show, the cocktail hour for Shake and Enjoy.
So yeah, folks. So I put the recipe up yesterday. It is the apple sidecar.
And I love sidecar.
She loves the sidecar, but it's just Hennessy, apple juice, lemon juice, and is it Contour?
Contour.
There we go. You know, we just gonna be a little fancy today.
And today will probably be the day where I don't even drink that much. Look at that. Look at the day she make it one of my favorite drinks. I can't even overindulge.
It's perfectly fine.
Because yesterday, we started on the porch today, and it just...
You know, she really likes a porch gathering, people. She really likes a porch gathering. And
it was the first one of the year. It wasn't too hot. Like, it was a nice breeze, and we just chilled.
Yeah.
And then... Yeah.
And then today happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have 2 ounces of Hennessy.
She got a good cat.
I only drink the good cat.
She told me I can't drink the regular cat.
I only drink the good cat.
And then we had some 1738 yesterday on top. After the mimosas, we were just doing the most. What's this about?
I was just enjoying the day at the house. That's all I was doing. I was just enjoying my day at the house, catching up on work that I needed to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna have. Hold on, y'all know I always have to.
And I got the things.
I always have to look at the recipe.
Then we need 2 ounces of apple cider and 1 ounce of Contour. See, I always have it marked. And it is on page 12.
She better than me.
Let me go to the captions. So our producer is missing today.
I just sent him a message, so I just hope he's okay. I really hope he's okay.
He's missing today, and so I'm back to man in the car. Man in the spaceship. I can't even talk today. So we hope everything is okay with Larry.
Everything is okay with Larry.
So yes, I will be having to double focus on stuff. So just know, and we have a splash of orange juice. This is on page 12.
It's not. It's a splash of lemon juice.
That's what I said. But the way I say lemon sounds like orange. The way I say lemon sounds like orange sometimes.
No problem. Okay.
I have a speech impediment.
Okay, I'll roll with it.
It's the braces.
Okay.
They change stuff up.
I'll roll with it.
1 ounce of Contour. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's 2 ounces because we just gonna make both of them.
And a splash of lemon juice. And then you shake this for 15 seconds.
Yes. You should really shake all the cocktails for at least 10 to 15 seconds.
Why?
Because you want the cocktail to chill properly.
Oh.
So
interesting.
Yeah. Just a little FYI, that's all.
Little FYI, drink of the day, the sidecar. Please share the stream. We appreciate it if you all do. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Why am I starting to feel better already? Just because you shake it. I didn't feel like I was sick yesterday. This is what they used to say. My parents taught me, like, if you ever wake up with a hangover, you bite the dog that bit you.
Or you have another
drink, or have like a cold beer or something, or like a shot or something. So I'm about to bite this bad boy and see what happens. And
I am under the guise that you have some orange juice, a nice shower, and do not answer your phone. That's
I can't do that for today.
That sums it up for me.
See,
you a trooper.
I am. I could
Hey, Lisa, you a trooper.
Hey.
I'm not this.
Cheers to we troopers today.
Yeah,
we survived. Let's go.
Funny thing is, she got more than we steal.
That's good. That's strong. That's that's a real drink. Hey, Jen. Good thing I had them tubs and them chicken wings. I didn't eat chicken wings this morning.
She did have some chicken wings, so y'all just keep her lifted up. We're gonna make it through these 90 minutes.
My hand shaking. Listen. When the drinks kick in, let me tell you how they kicked yesterday, baby. But yes, so anything else going on with Shaking the Joy?
Due to the government's announcement on Friday about us staying, she wanted us to chill out for 2 weeks. Shake and Enjoy, which is me. I'm going to be doing 10 new episodes of the Home Happy Hour edition, where it all started.
Yes! She's going to the beginning! I'm so excited!
So, we're going to do this at 5:30, Monday through Friday. 10 new cocktails. Okay? 10 new cocktails. Some new banter that we can talk about. Oh, okay. Well, we just heard from the producer. Okay? Larry, come on in. That's new. That's what we're doing this week. And that's about it. So tune in to my Facebook Live. And then you can share it there. I'm not going to put it on YouTube until I figure out what I'm going to do with that. But that's what we got.
Okay.
So let's move on because we changed the agenda, folks. Just a little bit. So after we have the drink segment, we're going to jump right into the She's Press segment, okay? Before we get into the other business, okay?
So the She's Press, today, the nail set of the week is all of them. Like, I really like all of them. I could not decide on which one.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I had to just say, I really like my work. So I was just like, it's like that Snoop Dogg, I want to thank me. So I want to thank me for being creative. I want to thank me for venturing on. That's how I'm feeling today.
Okay.
I'm on my little cocky stuff right now.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. So you do know where you can get your She's Press.
She'sPressNails.com. And I have a couple conversations I'm supposed to have this week concerning She's Press.
Well, look at that.
So we'll see, what's going on. Our guest has actually been helping me with something.
Okay.
She has a consulting firm.
That's nice.
So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But other than that, She's Press has really been doing good. Thank you all for all your support. If you order, I've always asked, please send me pictures or please post so I can repost you. My mentor, who I actually learned how to do the press-ons from, Amnesty.
I was about to say, well, I remember her name. It's like we friends or something.
Yeah, she is actually doing a class. She's doing a class in June. It's going to be in Texas. She's telling people how to make $10,000 in 1 month from press-on nails.
Well, I won't be going to that.
So I'm excited for her. I actually had thought about going to the class again just to learn something. And she does, keep in touch with the people that take her class.
Okay.
So, like we talked, she keeps me going. She gives me some tough love that sometimes hurts my feelings.
Sometimes it hurts your feelings.
It does.
I think that's what the coaches and the mentors for.
And she don't even care about my feelings.
No.
Like, not at all.
No, they like to tell you that you playing it small, you playing it safe, you need to be doing this. You're like,
oh, this is ugly. What? Did you tell me this is ugly?
Oh,
But I listen though. So you know what I'm saying. So that's all that's going on with She's Pressed because of my today how I'm feeling. There will be no She Pressed on me today. I did not have time to get pressed. I didn't have the 2 minutes that it
You
takes.
did not have the 2 minutes.
I needed all these 2 minutes to do that. But She's Pressed is still rocking and rolling, and thank you all for the support.
So we're going to get into the What's Poppin' segment of the show. And
man in the board, this is hard. I forgot. I haven't done it in so long.
It's okay. Our producer was in real trouble.
I know, but that's okay. Next time you can text us.
Okay. So the number one current event that we had this week was, anybody want to take a guess out there in the comments? Anybody?
I'm sad.
Anybody?
I don't know what that is.
DJ Stacy?
I don't know.
DJ?
He said something up. I don't know what that is.
We don't know what that is. Sorry.
But hey.
DMX passed away.
I know.
After our weeks of, hey Calvin, after our week of prayer, lifting him up in prayer and hoping that he made a full recovery from whatever happened that sent him to the hospital, because there are so many conflicting stories right now. You know, just have to wait until the details come out, the truth. But he passed away.
And I'm saying, like, he will always be known for like his realness, his prayers, that voice. Where my dogs at? I love when he used to say that. I used to be like,
I'm sad to see him go, but I wasn't really a DMX fan.
Really?
I was not.
My dogs go.
No, like I believe, like my sister Sean, she actually still has the ticket stub from when she went to the concert. I didn't go with her and Isha to the concert. I don't know what I was doing. Maybe mothering. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I was doing. So but my condolences goes to him and his family. You know, a lot of the celebrities, they caught a bad deal this week because they had put him in the grave before he had actually passed. So we're just going to go back to that comment I said a couple weeks ago. Make sure you check. Got to fact check with the family first.
And don't put stuff out there before the family.
Listen, don't do it. Don't do it. It's just rude. It's just rude. That's what it is.
If you hear something happen to me, wait till Sherry Jones put it out there. Or a reputable member.
Listen.
PRT.
Somebody on the staff, okay? Not somebody standing outside the building.
And it will probably say from the Jones family, or the Jones family would like y'all to know. If you just see some randoms, then don't believe the hype.
Well, as for me and my family, you won't hear nothing. You just gonna be wondering. They not gonna tell y'all nothing.
And then there'll be pictures, I'll be missing you. But thanks DMX. I look like you weren't a DMX fan, but I was really a fan. Like in college, we used to just bump DMX. Like that voice did something, and that brought back like the real grimy low street gas, and everybody wanted somebody that had on a white beater with some Timbs and the dog chain.
I think when he just had the verses with Snoop.
Yeah.
That's when I truly realized that I wasn't a fan. Like I knew the songs, I knew like the top 100 songs. I knew those songs, but like the ones that got down in the album, I was like, what is that? But I knew all the Snoop songs. So maybe that's what I was doing at the time. I was on a whole West Coast rap thing.
And I didn't like Snoop. I wasn't a big Snoop fan.
I was in love with Calvin.
Snoop lost me when he got Shirley Temple curls and I saw his nails polished. That's when he lost me. I know this part of that pimp era, and when he wanted to be with Don Magic Wand, that
I've been trying to get my press out to look just like Snoop since then.
I don't think guys wear Shirley Temple curls. I don't. And I don't care who he is, how gangster he is. You are not a thug with Shirley Temple curls and your nails polished. I can't get with it. That's just me. I mean, I want mad guy to be like, but not bark.
Bark like a big dog.
And then DMX used to be grand. You know, it's slipping and he can't get up.
Oh, I remember that song.
And all his prayers used to just be so deep.
See, Albie first said he wasn't a big fan, but I respect the family. Like, I'm not gonna say that, it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter.
And we usually connect on stuff, Al. We not connected right now.
No, I was a big West Coast fan. So now that was the only hot topic we had, but we do want to let you all know we have started a sponsorship program. Okay, so if you reach out to us via email or through one of our socials, you can find out what the packages are for sponsoring an episode or multiple episodes of The Perfect Pair going forward.
And we will have a couple of sponsors coming forward. I'm excited to let you all know when it happens.
Very soon.
Yeah, we feel like we're about to get in the big time. Like, how do we position this stuff?
It starts small and it's just going to balloon. And just remember, folks, you all were here first.
Y'all knew us before everything.
Yeah,
before we start changing and acting all Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because I am going to change. I'm not going to be that person to be like, oh, I'm going to still say the same. Oh, no. I want to change. I mean, it's not going to be a bad change, but it's going to be a noticeable difference.
Really?
Y'all not going to, I'm going to change my laugh.
It's probably only one way you're going to notice it happening to me. And I'm probably going to just become more reclusive.
I'll be everywhere.
That's probably what's going to happen. Like, man, she don't come out no more. Nope. Hey, Ashika.
Just a little bit. Hey, Ashika, but maybe I won't. I haven't changed yet. I haven't let the fame get to me.
You haven't.
So, and I am feeling better. See, this is what I needed. I needed to bite the dog that bit me and us to just start talking.
All right, then. Well,
see, and
I brought a little joy.
Everything is working in his favor.
I brought a little joy here. Look at that.
All right, so the only thing else I wanted to say was about, right, now I'm just full of talking. I didn't have anything to say 2 minutes ago. With the DMX passing, I was looking on like the Shade Room or something, and who just died? Was it Prince Edward? Henry Phillip? Somebody?
Prince Albert.
Oh, Albert. Where did I make up those
It's the Queen's husband.
He died, but they posted like Prince Albert passes and rap star with trouble pass dead at 50s. Like Prince Albert passes at 99. Rap star dead, trouble pass at 50. And it was on the same page, and it would just show how things are portrayed different in the media. And so you can make your decisions off of how you will judge this person simply by words. Why DMS couldn't pass? Why did we have to talk about his trouble pass?
He was almost 100.
So?
He was almost 100.
But he's still dead. Is he not dead? Prince Albert dead at 99, a year short from 100.
They didn't bring up all of his scandalous past.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So yes, Greg, it was rough Friday. Started off a little shaky yesterday, but I poured it together. That's why I started drinking my juices, had my vitamins, and I was better. Then started on the porch, and then here we are right now.
Here we are, folks.
Thanks for checking on me, buddy. But yeah, so that was just it.
All right. Well, look at that.
Well, look at that. Now we go to, and I haven't been manning this station.
You haven't been.
I keep forgetting. I'm not used to this. So where am I going? I'm going to our guests.
Yeah.
So today's topic is finding love in a pandemic. So I know this wonderful lady.
I am so excited for this conversation.
So let me just bring her up. Hold on. How do I do this?
That's how you do it.
Yes. Hey, Corinda.
Hi, Tangerine Marti. How are you?
We're doing great. So everybody, let me tell you how I know this wonderful lady, Corinda.
Yes.
Corinda Washington started off as my RA my second year at Eastern Michigan in Best Hall.
So can I say something? Because I'm noticing a pattern.
What?
You're still friends with all of the people from the dorm.
Dorm life was something. It's the bond. And when you have good people, like Corinda just has this aura of just sweetness and kindness. Like when I say I wish I was sweet, I could probably never. I do sometimes wish I was a nicer person, but I could never be like nice like Corinda. Like
You nicer?
yeah, you sound like you don't think I'm nice. You think I'm super nice.
I think you super nice.
Hey, you're like the first person to ever say that. Thank you, friend.
You are nice.
I'm nice, but sometimes I wish I could be nicer because people make me mad sometimes, and I just get like attitude. I've never seen Corinda with an attitude, and we used to do some stupid stuff in the door.
And I didn't get an attitude?
I used to have the dorm hall smelling like acrylic because I was doing nails out of my dorm.
Yes, ma'am.
It used to be.
And some tell me that it was in the bylaws that you couldn't do that.
That's why she's the favorite. All right, but I started doing my dorm director nails until I got caught up in that situation and she didn't want me.
Oh,
everybody has a scandal from college. Mine didn't end up in the paper or anything.
I started walking.
I've got a couple of them, even myself. So
you know. But let me get that focus on.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Corinda Washington. She started off as my RA at Eastern Michigan Invest Hall, 1999. And now she has, she works for the government, Department of Security, and she just launched her own company. This is Black Girl Magic.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So it's a consulting business. So like she can help you get businesses off the ground. If you need different contacts, like she does all of that. That's all I want to do. So
it's a beautiful thing. Help people get started and then you move on.
And then you just move on to the next person and help them get started and move on.
So I went to one of her sessions she had about branding and trademarking.
Okay.
And it was awesome. Learned a lot about that. So I want to introduce Corinda. Also, the reason why I have her on is because she started off like on Instagram and Facebook, like posting her, how do I say this? Like her new love romance that she found during the pandemic. So like she met this guy and she would like take us on.
Well, we gonna let her tell the story.
Okay. So everybody, introducing the fabulous and the wonderful Corinda Washington.
Hi everyone. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
being here.
So, Corinda, let's start off. So she didn't want me to tell.
No.
Let you tell.
Yeah.
What is to you finding love in the pandemic?
You know, when you're super single pre-pandemic, you're like super single during a pandemic. I mean, it's like everything shut down and you're stuck in your home.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got the same friends that you had pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So if your options were limited when you could go outside and go to venues and go to all the places where you normally would meet people, then the pandemic happens and they tell you everything is closed. It's like, well, when in the world I might get COVID? I just can't go meet a stranger because I could get COVID. It was a maximum singleness situation.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So where did you all meet?
LinkedIn.
Oh, website. Oh, so you know he got a job.
You know you have you're gainfully employed. I can fact check that. Because I never would have imagined it. And it's not a dating site. I mean, you're not there for that. His approach was smooth though. He didn't approach saying, "Hey, can I get your number?" So I had posted something about doing a staycation. My job is very demanding. We're in the same industry, which is how we were connected on LinkedIn. So I had taken a staycation during the pandemic. I went downtown DC, checked myself into a hotel, and I just did a post saying, you know, if you have been debating whether or not you should take a break and people want to make you feel guilty since we're all working from home, so you should be on 24/7, your brain needs a break and we need to rest. We need to take care of ourselves as executives. All I said, last part of the post said, I wrote a poem, something that I hadn't done in 15 years. This man at 6:31 in the morning sends a message. Good morning, Corinda. you mentioned in your recent post that you had written a poem, something you haven't done in 15 years. I'd be interested to read what you wrote.
Oh, he took interest.
Oh, he was smooth.
I like that.
Smooth, right? So I'm like, well, I'd already posted it on Instagram and Facebook. It's out there if he really was looking for it. So what's the harm in posting it to this stranger in my inbox? This man came back with a whole lit review of this poem. 2 lines that he focused in on. I have a Tesla. So one of the lines said, the title of the poem is I'm Grateful. And one of the lines said, you know, a Tesla in the garage. I remember a time when my feet were my transportation. Motivation. Another line said, no husband, children, or even a pet yet. That pet's name would be Bison 3. Those that know that's so me. He comes back, talks about how he bought stock in Tesla. So you done one up me already because I'm driving the car, but you got shares in the company building the car. Okay, points. And talked about his faith. And then at the end of this lit review says, I hope if permitted, one day I'd be able to meet Bison 3. And I thought, well, how are you going to meet Bison 3 if you don't meet Bison 3's owner? So how's this working out? So to say the least, I screenshot the chat, sent it to my friend and said, is this guy coming on to me? And she said, absolutely. And he was smooth. You got to be smooth back.
Cool.
The exchange went on and that's how we met.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That was good. He is smooth. And how long ago?
Say it again.
How long ago was that?
That was in October. So it's 6 months this month. Yes. Back in October, we set up a phone call after that exchange, about 4 or 5 messages back and forth. And the messages were getting longer and longer. And I kept saying, if this man don't ask me for my phone number already, like, can we just get to it?
Right.
And he never did. So he ended up sending a message and embedded like 4 lines or 5 lines in the message. I never had anybody ask me for my number this way. Would you mind providing your preferred method of communication outside of LinkedIn?
Do you? I like that.
Yeah. So I provide my phone number thinking, finally. And so we scheduled a phone call that was a Friday on that Sunday, and ended up talking for hours to the point that we had to be like, I got work in the morning. You got work in the morning. We should do this again. Next one should be a video call. We did the video call. He booked the flight that night and flew here the following Friday. And we met in person in the lobby of his hotel room.
Right, the following Friday?
The following Friday.
That's what I'm talking about.
Dang, Al, I'm about to update my LinkedIn too. I'm about to start posting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He flew in. So where is he? And where are you?
I'm in the DC area, and he's in Texas, in the Houston area.
That was real. That wasn't like no spirit flight. No, that
He
was
went from
real.
Central Time Zone to the Eastern Time Zone. He had a little jet lag. Ooh.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because that night, so let's talk about past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Things we've dealt with before and the baggage we bring into the next. And one of the things that I promised myself that I wasn't going to bring in this baggage. Prior to meeting him, I had been on Bumble during the pandemic, met a guy off of Bumble during the pandemic, did an outside walking date foolishness, end up getting a text from his fiance that he was engaged. Let's talk about that. Another guy that I met on Bumble, we never made it to meeting in person. He began to ask questions like, why do you have a mentor? You said you had a call with your mentor. Why are you at this age and you have several mentors? I'm sorry, I guess you don't believe in continuing to grow. Yeah. So next, and he was a senior VP at a bank. You know, like I'm thinking, whoa, I may have strict goals.
That's as far as he was
right. And so, you know, moved on from there. So here, this situation arises, and I'm thinking, I'm used to people not following through on what they say they're gonna do. So here we are on Thursday. This was a, you know, conversation I think we did like on a Tuesday. We had the first video call where he said, I'm gonna go online tonight and book my flight and book my hotel. And so it's like Thursday or Friday, and I'm following up like, did you book your flight for next Friday? Did you book your hotel? Next thing I get is just a screenshot of the flight itinerary. I was like,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Take an initiative.
Duly noted. And he said, why should it be rare that a man just keeps his word? I told you when we got off the call that I was booking my flight. What would change between what I said and what I did?
Why should it be rare that a man keeps his word? We can get into that.
Keep his word. And when I tell you these last 6 months, the man has just kept his word. And I'm like, okay, Lord, this is interesting. This is rare.
And when you find something rare, it's like you want to hold on to it because you're in uncharted waters. You have never experienced anything. So it's like, wait. And, I appreciate that you gave him an opportunity when you had been through a couple situations with this whole pandemic and trying to date virtually and things like that. I commend you for even saying, you know what, let me see how this goes.
And, it's important to get your support network.
Yeah.
So my girls, I have about 2 or 3 trusted young ladies in my circle. I also have my mom, who's been married to my father 48 years this June. To really, it was times that I wanted to walk away. And when I thought about why I was walking away, it was because it was the fear of the unknown. Mm-hmm. It was, could this possibly be true? Let me jump out before I find out that it's not true.
Yeah.
Or getting to that point where the work, when my parents talk about the way that we got to 48 years wasn't because your mom is so beautiful and she has a great personality and she gives back. We had to put in that work every single day. And I'm thinking, what's the work? I mean, he's good. I'm good. No, the work is when you really want to talk tonight and he doesn't because he got 25 or plus employees that are looking at him and he's drained. And then 2 days later, you're drained and he also understands what your grind is like. That's next level because now we're looking at our lives and like, can we build? Mm-hmm. Now I'm thinking about, when I go to him and I say, I got to write these narratives for my next in my life and him telling me, where you at? Do you want me to review those for you? Do you, what can you get an hour? Can you push one more hour tonight? Because if you push one more hour, I think you'll be closer. So that tomorrow, maybe we in review mode and you're not still writing. When people start actually taking interest in you,
oh my God,
I'm loving it like shit.
Somebody tell me they're gonna help me with some nails. Sean, you need me to bust some nails.
I mean, just anything. You want me to help you with packaging or anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not physically going to help me, just inquire about what I'm doing. See where I am. I could be overwhelmed. Like,
correct. And
like a fool or something.
Yes.
That's
and talking. I know that my type A personality, I have to be in control. I know that about me. I've recognized that about me. And I think that when we go into relationships, and that's even a friendship, but even going into any kind of relationship, especially a romantic relationship, we have to know who we are and be real and upfront with that other person on who we are. He knows that Corinda likes being in control. And so what he'll do is he'll say, to help you in that area, I booked the flight. I give you the itinerary. You can go all the way live on planning, itinerary. I'm going to take a back seat. Do you? Because he knows that I'm on it. Oh, I want to see, can we go for walks? What restaurants are open? What do we need? What the logistics are? He's going to play into my strengths. But I also have to recognize sometimes to let him lead and be okay with him leading. Miss Independent, what is his role if you can do it all? Why is he here?
Like that. It's his role if you can do it all.
If you got it.
Corinda, I have a question.
Yes, Marty, please.
I have a question because I struggle in this area. because I am an A-type woman. I am. But how did the conversation go when you all decided this was what you were going to do? You were going to be in a relationship.
It happened that on that first trip, it's like we just clicked. So when the person that I met via phone on that Sunday and for 4 hours, then on the video call virtual for 4 or 5 hours, then the person that showed up that following Friday, there was consistency throughout. The communication was consistent, right? You start off with doing good mornings and checking in the middle of the day, but then that falls off at some point. Now, I haven't heard from you for days, but it was consistent to that Friday. Then it's the weekend. So I didn't stay. We didn't stay together. I'm up the street, so you got at a hotel close to me, but like those boundaries were there. And then on the day that he was leaving, the night before, we had the conversation like, so how did you feel that this weekend went? I felt that this weekend went great. How did you feel it went? I also feel it went great. So what do you want to do? I think we should give us a shot. We made that decision that first weekend.
I did too. 137 days.
Hello. Like, we never had that talk. Maybe we should have what?
Because here's the thing. I'm 42 years old. At this point, I know what I want, what I don't want. I know what my standards are. Again, knowing who you are going into the situation. The other thing is, who has time to be trying to hide feelings and emotions? Either you feeling me and you're interested, or you're not.
You're not. Because the streets are calling my name. The streets are calling my name. I'm going into the streets.
There isn't that pressure to be somebody that I'm not. Another thing that he kept it real with me and said, listen, I can't read minds. And I think as women, we feel that all men should be able to read our minds.
We need to bring them all. Oh my goodness.
I can't read your mind. So the thing that I ask of you, if I'm missing the mark, if something is a problem, tell me. Because I don't know what to fix if you don't tell me. I don't know what the expectation is.
Whole TED Talk, Corinda.
What's that?
It's a whole TED Talk.
I know, right? And it just, like, it's just amazing to me. And like, even now we continue to have that keep it real moment. And he can sense when I'm not coming forward and letting him know, like, that really pissed me off, but I'm not going to tell him because I don't really want him to be rattled or think. He's like, no, don't hold that. Because oftentimes what you thinking it was, not even the story.
That's true.
And I kid you not, 99.9% of the time, oh, he didn't text me back. I asked him, did he want to do a virtual on Tuesday? And he going to go into this other conversation. He didn't even acknowledge what I said, only to find out what text. Oh, let me scroll up the text thread. Oh, that got mixed in between me telling you that I got to go and run this errand and you asking me about a virtual and me understanding that's not the time to start setting up engagements, meetings, and ask. When we have those kind of conversations, they're usually in the evening. His workday is over. He's more settled. He can focus.
Okay.
So I had to retool when I do these random asks in the middle of the day. Like, I had thought you should come up and visit. We should do a visit in 2 weeks on a Thursday. And he's like, yeah, okay. Not really paying attention because he's at work. So even tweaking, getting to know your partner and realizing you getting upset on stuff that actually you could avoid. Because you need to figure out when he's actually paying attention and can receive that information.
I don't think you understand. I mean, because I'm just meeting you here, but when I say I am speechless right now, I am speechless because I am amazed at the communication level here.
Is he a lot older than you?
Actually, 4 years younger. Would you believe that?
Jesus, wait a minute. I'm thinking he's Ron Isley or somebody.
Yes, younger. Definitely. Tell them all the time, like, you're an old soul, because I know I'm wise beyond my years just because of how I was raised. But we were raised in a similar environment. I want to say on communication, that is the biggest blessing that this pandemic could have ever given anybody who's really trying to commit to a relationship. And the reason why is because we didn't have a movie to go to.
No.
We didn't have a coffee shop to sit at. We weren't in a restaurant. So those 4 hours and that first phone call, that's dedicated time that you're getting to know somebody. When we did our virtuals, and we continue to do virtual dates, we're doing dates like our date nights include question and answer. They're topical because I'm really trying to get to know him. He's really trying to get to know me. And so it's questions like, how do you express love? He's not a I love you type person. He's a doer. So for him, his actions express love. When he got on that plane, that communicated to me, I'm interested. I want to get to know you and all those things. So it's just interesting to be in this pandemic and see that you can build with somebody, but communicate, it forces you to communicate. You don't have any other choice. And then on top of that, we're long distance.
Okay. We're all this and y'all long distance. Like, have y'all established, even though we're not with each other, we are just exclusive, or how does that work?
That was also determined that weekend that it would be exclusive.
Everything is because and they may be going on 6, 7, 8 months.
We don't even know what's going on with them.
No. So he is a date one at a time person to see where this one is going and then go to the next. I am too. It wasn't until I got to know him did I understand why we're like that. Tangerine mentioned it earlier, just being such a nice person. I'm a giver. And so when you absorb, you're absorbing other people's energy, other people's concerns. I'm a consultant, so I'm thinking about other people's dreams. All that weight is internalized. Now enter another human being that you say that you want to get to know romantically, and you want to create space for that individual. I'm literally creating space for one person. I couldn't imagine having to create space for multiple people because I don't have that much energy or emotion to give. Well, come to find out, he doesn't either. He's just as involved in his local community. He sits on community boards. He has a global outreach and doing a lot of things abroad and raising money for projects abroad. He doesn't have the time either. So it's crazy on how our lives kind of came together, but real is recognizing real. I know the truth when he says that he's done, like he crashed on me, is not because he was trying to shake me. He literally did crash because he was in calls from one time he got up to the time he went to bed. And then he has a 4-hour community meeting on their next project. Okay. We will talk tomorrow. Right. Good night, babe. Like, that's it.
Was it hard to establish trust? Sorry, Marty. Like to establish trust that he was keeping his word like you were keeping yours?
It was because of the baggage that I had to let go. So instead of me wanting to believe the positive that he just crashed, where's my mind go?
Who over there? Where he about to go? What he about to do?
We long distance. So how I know that he really fell asleep? How I know that he wasn't texting somebody else? How do I know that he went out in the street somewhere? And it took me really evaluating. I remember looking in the mirror one day, literally having this conversation with myself and saying, Corinda, you have seen this man and you know this man's intentions and his spirit. Because you know that, how in the world could you ever get to this conclusion over here? Because you know that. So this fear that's percolating over on the left, you've got to put that in check. And one of the big things that I would say, we share the same faith. Okay. So he's a Christian, I'm a Christian. There's a lot of things that we go to prayer about together. Okay. because he also recognizes, he'll tell me in a minute, babe, you got to get out of your head. You overthinking that. You got to let that go. You're overthinking it. We're done. Like, we're squashing this because it's over. And as women, we want to like, well, I could have said it this way, and maybe I could have, done something different. And he's just like, no, like, it's over. It's a non-issue. I'm trying to see if I can give it a good example of one. So one of the things that we talked about, with dating was the communication. So I'm a like good morning and checking in. I'm a that type of person. Mm-hmm. For him, his good morning might come at like 9 o'clock Eastern, which is really like 8 Central. Mm-hmm. But then it might not come. So it might at 11 o'clock, it could be, how's your day going? And I used to be put off by that. Like, oh, you couldn't reply this morning. Like, how busy were you that when your feet hit the ground, I should be on your mind, and I should be the first person you speak to in the morning. And his comeback could be, when he does that at 11 o'clock, is like, I was really thinking about you. So when we're doing our next visit, mm-hmm. That cancels the whole good morning.
I can't even be mad at him.
That like you caught up on, am I gonna send you a good morning every single morning, or does it matter that I'm still putting in this work and to ensure that I'm booking these flights and that I'm paying this money for this hotel? Last hotel he did an upgrade and was like, you've been working so hard, you've been stressed. He just flew in on his own. It wasn't even like a plan. It wasn't one of our planned trips. Booked the VIP vice president suite because I just got a promotion, and he was like, we need something. You deserve something presidential. Like stuff like that. but I'm gonna get caught up. Like, but my good morning didn't come until 10:59. And I sent mine at 7:59. Like, what was you doing for 3 hours that you couldn't send me a good morning? But I booked this flight though.
So what I'm gathering from this piece, Corinda, is that we need to get out of our own way.
Yep. We do. Because and even now, I mean, 6 months in, we're not co-located. We're still not in the same state. We got some more building to do. But what I will say, even in this time, is that I have got to trust the process. Okay. And stop trying to evaluate every single move. Like, what did he mean when he said that? I wonder what he meant. I've gotten to the place that I circle back and say, babe, what did you mean when you said this? Oh, I was just saying in general, because, let me tell you what happened with my cousin last week. Mm-hmm. I didn't tell you this part. And so then I'm like, oh, that's more context into that statement versus me thinking that he's meaning something else. The other thing is he's a naturalized American. So he's from another country. Yes. And so there's a cultural aspect that I'm learning as well. And I can't wait till he writes his book, because his whole journey to the United States just fascinates me. But having the perspective that he has, having a perspective on entrepreneurship, and oftentimes, we don't embrace, and as you young ladies are, you are entrepreneurs, having a man that actually supports your grind and actually encourages your grind and salutes the work that you do. And we talked about the Queen's husband passing away. And although his legacy may be marred by a lot of indiscretions, one thing that he said in the interview that they played back is that he humbly accepted the fact that he was supposed to support the Queen. There aren't that many men who will bow down and say, I know that I'm the number 2. Or we look at Kamala Harris's husband, who says, I'll be the first gentleman. I'm on the team.
Not a lot of
it is not a lot of people who would do that. And even my own father, who says there's plenty of days that I say I'm Karen Washington's husband. It's not that Karen Washington is my wife, but who she is in the community there are plenty of days where I've had to say, I'm Karen's husband. And that in and of itself is just a beautiful thing to know that it exists. And if God is no respecter of persons, if it exists over here, it can exist for me as well.
So Greg said, what's the link? What's the link to what, Greg?
What link?
He don't know. And I'm convinced he don't know because he ain't came back and said nothing else, and I'm not about to give in to that. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I have a question.
Yes, Marty.
I have a question.
Yes.
A couple shows ago, we had the non-negotiables. We talked about the non-negotiables when it comes to dating and selecting someone. Did you have to go back and review your list upon dating this man?
Not really. So non-negotiables for me, they're very simple and they're realistic. I'm a woman of faith, so you have to be a Christian.
Yeah. Cannot deny Jesus.
I just can't do it. I have friends who have, and they haven't had a problem with it, but I just can't. It's too big of a part of my life for me to let that go. The other thing was their view on relationships. Okay. And giving back to the community. Those are things that are very important to me. And so if you don't see life through that lens, it's going to be hard. I was engaged before, and my ex-fiance, one of the biggest things was pretty much resented who I was at my core. And it took a while for me to figure that out. But every time I would talk about, I'm going to this speaking engagement, or I'm sitting, I want to sit on this board, it wasn't received in a way or responded in a way that was like, oh, babe, that sounds cool. Right. Let me know what's that organization about? Mm-hmm. It was more like, in a sense, that's taking more time away from us by you sitting on this board or by you working in local communities. And so those were like just my major non-negotiables. Of course, I would have loved for us to be in the same area. I would have loved for him to be here. Like, why you got to be all the way down in Texas? Dang, right? And then I think the other thing is the communication. Okay. I'm a comms major. I love meeting new people. I love talking. And this man is an introvert for the most part. And so I'm like, how in the world is this going to work? But he's a functional introvert. So yeah. I thought he was an extrovert until I started noticing some signs like, no. He's an introvert at his core. So I had to, tweak some things.
You are an introvert?
I'm a functional introvert. I like that.
Well, I have concluded that I am an omnivert. It just depends on the mood. I can be on or I can be off. Just depends on what I want to do at the time. Yeah. I can be the life of the party or I can not go to the party. That's just what it is.
When I'm not feeling it or I'm overwhelmed, I don't show up, which is why people think that I'm always on. It's not true. I go into my little hibernation, get my mind right, and I come back and I'm on. And people are like, oh, you're always so nice. No.
I just had 2 weeks with nobody. Like, it's
I have 2 questions.
Come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
One is, where is he from? And the second one, have you ever been to Texas to see him?
So good question. So he is South Sudanese. He is from South Sudan. He is, when I talk about his legacy, he is one of the original Lost Boys of South Sudan. And having to stay at a refugee camp for his whole adolescence, being away from his family, walking thousands and thousands of miles to Nairobi in order to get to the refugee camp.
And then, documentary about those guys.
About the Lost Boys, yeah. So it was crazy. And he was like, "You Google me?" It was almost like I violated his rights. But I was like, I Googled your story and found all this stuff. But yeah, Reese Witherspoon did a movie, The Good Lie, and his story was featured in The Good Lie. And so, the African American story
Yes.
is happening between us.
Okay.
Because I am learning so much about my ancestors through him. Just the disconnect between Blacks in America and the Black diaspora and the African American, the true African born in Africa American, that whole dynamic, and why it's predominantly white individuals who are working those refugee camps and facilitating immigration and migrants coming into the U.S., whereas Blacks in America, we're like, not my problem. I ain't going to the mission field out in the middle of the bush. That's not my thing. But to be able to have a man in your life who has that background and who was away from his family for so many years before being reunited, it's just a humbling experience. And I marvel at him, like, how did you turn out to be this amazing individual when you didn't have your parents from like age 12, and that these strangers raised you at a refugee camp? And so he was able to get asylum, got his citizenship, and the rest is history. Two masters and a executive certificate from Harvard later. Okay. Man just out here doing his thing. As far as Dallas, or Texas, no, I have not. So here's the thing: COVID. Yeah. When we did that first trip, did the COVID test, everything, checked out. So he came here. Second trip, he came here. We're still COVID free. And Texas was wilding out, still wilding out. And so he's like, I don't feel comfortable. So we did the whole video, I could see his place and all those things. So the plan is for me to go down in either June or July. I'm like, you would pick the hottest months.
Right.
Of the year for me to have to make the trek down there. But no, I'll go that way for the next few visits after our next visit. He's here, but then the next few after that, I'll be down there.
Wow. I admire this journey, because there have been people who were local and they found another position in another state, and I said no. Like, I just didn't, as you say, coined it, I didn't want to do the work. Like, I didn't want that to be a part of my life.
Yeah. And the end goal is for us to be in the same region.
Place. Yeah.
So, and he's been putting in that work too. And to get this way.
He'll come to DC.
So you know what? He'll probably watch this replay at some. He's not on social media, but I'm going to send him the link, and he's going to hear this for the first time. But because of where my career is, and again, him respecting that, he knows that in the short term he's got to come this way, just because of where we are. But what he does not know is that as the time goes by, I am more and more open to going that way. If the opportunity were to arise, and a lot of reasons. One, if this works out and we end up being able to be together and family and all that good stuff, DC area is just not conducive to that. And as I get older, I realize what's most important, and being a senior executive and not having the legacy that I would want to leave as a wife, as a mom, and all those things, it may take me bending. The other thing is where in the DC area. So he has a state in mind, and I'm not in that state right now. And I thought, if he moves up here from Texas to that state, I think you can move 20 minutes down the road to the other side of DC and be where he wants. I think you could do that. So it's that type of stuff where we just gotta let go.
The DMV is a very single friendly place. Mm-hmm. It's a very single friendly place, or just a newlywed type of place. You're just 1 and 2. Once you start bringing the kids in, it's like, what are we gonna do now?
Right, right. So if it were to go there, you know, even as much house as you can get. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm looking out my window, the townhomes going up across the street are starting at 762, 2 bedroom, 2 bath.
What?
Yes.
Why would I do that? Right.
Right.
And so those types of things, like 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, like I don't even have a guest room if something were to happen. 762,000 starting. That's not with all your upgrades and all the finishes that you want and all the things you want to charge me.
And I can tell by Corinda, we want all the finishes. We want all.
Yeah.
All
For almost $1 million, I want it all. But that same $700,000 home in Texas, we could have our own villa. And I can have all the rooms I want to have and all the bathrooms and the cleaning staff and everything else that I need in order to, and the chef probably, to make for $700,000.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's those types of things that you just start tweaking a little bit because you start realizing what's most important.
Okay. So I'm jumping around.
Okay.
So you mentioned that he was African.
Yes.
Did any stereotypes play in mind when you all met?
So I didn't know. I just thought he was a black man until I heard his accent.
Okay.
And I was like, there's an accent. Where is this accent from? And so then he had me playing a guessing game for a couple of minutes. I was like, I'm not going to guess, obviously. He's like, yeah, no, you're not. So I might as well just tell you. And the stereotypes didn't necessarily come in. It was the intrigue of what has he heard about African Americans, or what are those perceptions about African Americans? And after speaking to him, the first phone call, I told my mom, I'm going to ask him if he's ever dated a black woman. And my mom was like, what would make you even say that? You're not about to ask that man that. Oh, yes, I am.
Yes, I am.
There were certain things in the conversation that I was just like, I don't think he's ever dated a black woman. I think I'm going to ask him. And our next conversation, I said, I have a question. He's like, sure. I was like, have you ever dated a black woman? And he was like, honestly, no. And it played back into the conversation we just had a few minutes ago in regards to immigrants and refugee camps. Who's typically working there?
Right.
White people.
Right. So those are the people that he's familiar with.
Who is the one at the airport welcoming you to the United States?
Yep.
Happy that you're here. Let us know if you need anything. My church has a pantry in case you need anything. And we're going to bring over some toiletries and some cookies and make sure that you guys get settled in.
Okay.
White people. And it didn't dawn on me. He did high school here and he did high school in an urban area. And he said, you know, I liked Adidas because I ran. I'm a runner. Right. I liked Adidas. But because I wasn't rocking Air Force Ones, black kids didn't want nothing to do with me. And I said, I'm going to ask for forgiveness right here, right now, because I probably would have been one of those kids in Detroit talking about why you ain't got some white on white. Like, why don't you have any Air Force Ones? You can't just get one pair. Like, one pair would just be okay. Now we're talking the 90s. Right. Why you had Air Force Ones? But when he said that, I was like, why are we like that? Or, you know, the black kids didn't want to befriend him. It was the white kids that went out of their way to say, I want to be your friend and invite him to parties and all these things. Wasn't the black kids. And I repented. I said, you know what? I am going to apologize. Now let's reverse it. Let's talk about some of the things that you all say about blacks, that we're lazy, that we not out here on our grind. You don't understand why this person can't get a job. We've had some real deep conversations in regards to culture and the fact that he came here with a backpack, one pair of shoes, and one outfit, and was able to be where he is today. Yeah. Wow. So in his mind, how in the world Are you born and raised right here in this country with all this access and all these resources, and you telling me you can't just get a job? And so we talk about the dynamics between what was drilled into him as a little boy, that his mom and dad made sure he knew where he came from. Mm-hmm. He can go back 300 years in his family of the lineage of where he came from. And I can tell him, I know the Black little boy who may not even know who Big Mama is.
Right.
Let alone what tribe Mama's Big Mama came from.
Right.
So if I don't know who I am, if I don't have that identity, no one's instilled that into me what I can be. Then I get out here and I'm competing with an immigrant who's coming with all that knowledge deeply rooted, and with the determination and the drive that I got my opportunity in America, and I'm going to make something happen with this opportunity no matter what. Nothing's going to stop me. Mm-hmm. You had that in you at 13 years old.
Right. Wow. And sometimes we don't get it until we become adults.
If then.
Right.
Because I may have had somebody telling me what I'm not going to be, what I can't do. Mm-hmm. And when I'm not going to do it. And if I ever do it, I'll be here to see if you make, that encouragement is not there. So one of his dreams, and I told him, I was like, I'm sponsoring the first young man, you do this. But one of his dreams is to take young Black boys from the inner city and do a study abroad, sponsor their study abroad. Wow. And he's saying that, until young Black men see the global footprint, that until his hashtag is think differently, until you can think differently about your circumstances and about who you are and what you are globally, you can't impact your block because all you see is the block.
Right.
So if I show you a global perspective and allow you to bring the globe back to your block, now you're going to tell your classmate, oh, no, you can do that because I saw it done. They're doing that over in Europe. I saw it with my own eyes. They're doing this. You can do this. So I was like, all right, when you get the program rolling, I'm sponsoring the first young man. And he's got to be from Detroit.
That is dash worthy.
She said he gotta be from Detroit. He do.
Gotta be from Detroit.
He doesn't like a Detroit person. Nobody.
Not at all.
Very interesting.
Correct. I will tell you, I have learned so much, and through this conversation, I will say that I appreciate her a little bit more. I appreciate my network of girlfriends because I'm a shoot first, ask questions later type of lady.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah. And they're like, he's not dead. Don't throw him away. Like,
right.
He should be dead. And they have kind of scaled me back so I can look at some of the toxic traits that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I can look at those and examine them for what they are. And I know they are all defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
And know that that's what they are. But through this conversation, I know my LinkedIn profile is up to date. So we'll be on LinkedIn more. Yeah. LinkedIn, the more people are logging in, or they're gonna be like, "What is
right? Yeah, what in the world?"
Never posted on here.
I am not.
Is you is or is you ain't? Oh, baby. Oh my God, this is interesting.
So interesting. I think this was really good. I want to ask our final question of you. What advice do you have for people who are mega single and have been trying to find someone in this pandemic, in this situation that we're in, that it doesn't look like we're going to have an end anytime soon, or, it's just very unknown. What would be the one piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say be open, and a couple of pieces of advice, but definitely be open to non-traditional sources to meet someone. One thing we have found out in our in this pandemic is what we like and what we don't like. So join some of those affinity groups. Find some hashtags that align with your core values, what you're interested in, because more likely than not, I should say, there's probably somebody that you can meet through that process. The other thing is, I think we should definitely do this, and I'm trying my best to get it done too, is go back to the days how our parents met. Our parents were believers in introductions. They made introductions. I know somebody. I know somebody that's single. That's a good guy. Or I know a good woman. Let me play a little bit of matchmaker.
Okay.
We need to bring that back. I actually wanted to do an app that was just based on that. And I know that Facebook dating is trying to get a little bit into that space where, you can tell who knows who. But
Facebook can figure out who I want to be my friend. No. No.
But the point is, having a tool where you can make recommendations to your friends through an app, I feel is a great idea. Whoever wants it, you can have it. I just think that it's a great idea because we don't do enough of making recommendations. And so then you have to depend on life and the Lord, like how I went with the joker whose fiance found my number, obviously, in his phone to tell me that he was engaged. If I could fact check a little bit sooner, we wouldn't even gotten to that point, right? And so I think that it would be great if there was an app where you can make recommendations to your friends through the app. And if they're interested, they can swipe right. If they're not interested, swipe left.
Okay, I tried to pick Cupid. It was like some years ago when I had just asked anybody that was single to come on my page and post. And I would pair them up with people. It wasn't any successful thing.
One of my friends on Twitter, he's my Twitter nephew. He started Teachers Meet Teachers, so it's TMT. And so they have like a whole talk show. They've got a whole following, but he's done some matchmaking through Teachers Meet Teachers. Like they just felt that they were an affinity group and that it could work out. But that's one big piece of advice, is to just be open, non-traditional sources. And the biggest thing, before you even get back out here, make sure you're whole within yourself. There's nothing worse than you being half empty or half full, but being full and being able to make yourself happy. I took myself to plenty of dinners pre-pandemic, still do, even that I have somebody that's in my life checking for me. I still take myself out because I buy my own flowers for myself, because I want to continue to remind myself that even if you never end up married, or even if you never have kids, you, Corinda Washington, are doing just fine. It's okay. This is bonus. This is the bonus round. If in fact he finds you, that's the bonus of life. But the fact that I can love myself and go to sleep at night in peace, that is the biggest gift that you can give yourself, is to be whole within yourself before you let somebody else in.
That's true. Damn,
you just touched my heart, because I'm serial about my time that I have with myself. I need it. And yes, it includes dinners. And sometimes these dinners, the bill looks like I've had a party of 4 and it was just me, but it was okay. I had a good time.
Right.
And I want, it's that thing you just said, like, I want to feel like if it doesn't happen for me, I am still living the best possible life I can. I'm still happy. I don't want my happiness to be defined by, partnership or whatever it is, whatever society feels is going to make me happy. No. I am smiling and my skin is good and, I'm getting rest. And yes, I am. So,
exactly.
What it is.
No, it is. And it's so important too, when we look at, all the negatives that have happened in the pandemic. I also want to focus on the positives that have happened, and the fact that we're still standing, the fact that we're alive to have this conversation. we've got something to be thankful for.
Yes.
And so that's how I start my morning every morning. What am I thankful for today? How can I give thanks for just having life today? So whatever comes today, the fact that I made it through the day, I'm still good. With him, without him, I'm still good, because that is at its core, that's living life.
Yes.
And allowing life to be lived in a way that rewards you first, because it's at the end of the day, you got you. So I really value that, and it took a minute for me to do that. And then now being in a relationship, it's like, wow, let me enjoy that. People want to ask you, so where do you think it's going? Do you guys think you're gonna get engaged? Do you think you're gonna get married? Do you think you're gonna have kids? Can I just be in a relationship? Let's talk about how long it's been since that has happened. I'm just rolling. Each day is bonus, and we got plans for the next couple of months. Bonus. Let's just enjoy that, and the rest will come.
Yeah, I agree. I think my recommendation, Corinda, you need to do a TED Talk for all the single women out here. All the single ladies. Because I think this was a very valuable interview conversation that we were having here, because some of us get caught up. We get caught up in these timetables of life, and this pandemic, how it's taking us away from people. Like, we were 2 weeks in, and I literally went on my live, and I was like, oh, I might have to get me a roommate, because ain't nobody in here but me.
I was having a hard time being alone, and it was just like me being alone because I have to be alone is different.
It's different from me being alone.
And having, being intentional about creating that space and being honest with our mental well-being.
Yeah.
And being okay, not being okay. And there, have been times when I would say, well, I just need to talk to my mom, or I need to talk to somebody, or I'm going to set up a virtual with my girls, or I'm going to do something because it's just me here, and even I just flew back from home today. I just flew back from Detroit this morning. I was with my parents for the last 4 days, and I just felt so free. And when I got back into my apartment earlier this morning, I was like, why do I feel, what is that energy?
Yeah.
And it hit me. It's the energy of like, you love being with your family, and they're not here with you right now. And so feel that emotion, know what that emotion is, and let it ride. If you need to take a nap, do what you need to do, get yourself together. But it's important for us to check in and know what we can and what we cannot do, and protect our mental health.
Yeah. Well, I thank you, Corinda. This was good.
Thank you.
Like, maybe I need to step outside of my box at times. I feel that I have a little bit, but it can't hurt to step out a little bit more. And just not try to predict everything.
Yeah.
Just go with it.
Gotta go with it. We can't micromanage the process. It's a whole other human being we're talking about here.
Yeah.
What if they were trying to tell us what to do?
That's true. And I have to learn how to be better with communication.
Yes.
I like that. Well, how did this weekend go for you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, having talks like that. So how are you feeling about this? What are you thinking?
And be real. Tell the truth. Stop holding.
I was just about to say that.
Stop it. Fear of what he gonna say if I get out in front and I tell him I love him first. How's that gonna go over? And what if I tell him that I was really missing him? He ain't told me he was missing me yet. All these things that we do, it's games. Because now he's like, well, shoot, I ain't about to say nothing either, because I don't know what she's feeling over there. And no, have the conversation. Black and white, no grays.
Have y'all said the love word?
I've said it. He's not an I love you guys.
And his love includes his actions.
He'll do, like, the other day it was like love and like 2 hearts, and I was like, he's getting close. He's getting closer.
He's coming around.
But like,
it's a cultural thing.
See, now I'm scared of that.
But see,
if Like, I don't think I'll ever say I love you first. I think they have to say I love you, because if I say I love you and he don't say he love me back, then my feelings gonna be hurt.
I think so. For me personally, if I say I love you, that means that it came from a genuine place, and I'm not looking for it in return. Just know that I love you. Okay, I love you, and however you feel about me, you'll work that out. But I'm letting you know that's how I feel about you.
And I learned this about him in one of our date nights. It was one of the questions. Do you say, how do you express love? And do you say, I love you? And that went into a conversation about how he was raised. He says, I love you to the children in his life, because they need to know that they're loved. They don't know that they're loved. And so he is intentional about his nieces and nephews knowing that they're loved. And he says that to children in his life. As they get older, so his siblings, his dad is in his 90s. They know I love them. You know how they know I love them? I provide. I send money back home to ensure that they have a roof over their head. I pay my nieces and nephews tuitions and to ensure that they go to the best schools. I do. That's how he shows love. So for him, so now if I'm sitting here talking about, well, you ain't told me you love me, he now knows that that is a part of what Corinda needs and what she wants. So it's on him to do something with that information. But because I know how he was raised and how love is expressed in his family, and at what point people in his family say, I love you, it put a whole different perspective on it, because that's not something that they do.
I get it, but I want to be told.
You know, you still should have it. Because it's coming from a real place, and your partner should know what you need.
Yes.
In order to feel comfortable in the relationship.
And I feel like that's part of the communication. You have to let them know that's what you need to. You need them to say that to you. Like me, I'd rather you just pull up and fill the car up with gas. Amen. Hallelujah. That man loves me.
That's your love language. That's your love language. So yours could be acts of kindness or works. You know, it's knowing your love language, but I also think it's definitely knowing your partner. As you get to know your partner, it's like, okay, how many guys have told us they loved us?
Oh, geez.
On a dime, before we even can get the word out ourselves, has said, I love you. But haven't followed through on a thing lately.
Girl can't even call you back.
Can't call you back, can't text you back, ain't heard from him in weeks. But you know I love you, right? Like that's why, you know, I you haven't heard from me in a couple of weeks. I got caught up, I've been busy, but you know I love you.
That's some bullshit.
Or the guy who's been consistently communicating, when you need to get in contact, you can. They follow through on what they say they're gonna do.
That's him. Just him.
You haven't gotten a I love you, that phrase out, but I got all of this.
But
so okay, you take your time with that.
Okay.
And then at the point that I felt comfortable enough of sharing with you on how important those words are to me when you mean them.
Yes.
And when you got something to follow through and deliver on when you say those words as well. So I just think it depends on your partner and knowing what is of value to them. One thing I will give him credit for, if it's upsetting me or if I felt, okay, let's talk about it. How are we gonna fix it? Going forward, what do I need to tweak? And the same thing for me. Those words may have crossed you a little bit. Tell me how that made you feel, so then I know that I need to fix it going forward. We have those real conversations because you have to. You have to.
Stop being scared of it. You've given us a lot. You have given us a lot, some jewels, some everything, baby. Let me tell you.
Analyze.
I didn't know it was gonna be this deep.
I didn't think I thought it was gonna be real fun and cute.
Yeah, but this is like we learned.
Hey, I'm still learning too. So we'll cut it and we'll figure out a TED Talk or another talk I'll do live.
Your follow-up, what's going on? Yeah.
October, we'll see if we make it to October. That'll be a year. So
I'm praying for y'all. I hope y'all
thank you.
beautiful.
This
Thank
is
you.
beautiful, especially in this unprecedented event that we're in right now, where
Yeah.
you know everything is just different.
Yeah.
And I, like I said, I admire you too for taking a chance and
Thank
not
you.
giving up. Not giving up. I mean, I don't want to say I've given up. I've just created my own area.
We do it.
I created my own area. But Corinda, don't go away. We're going to talk to you afterwards, and we're going to close out the show now.
Okay.
But yeah, just stay tuned.
Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. This was great.
This was so great. It was. So, you know,
Let me tell you something before you get started. I just want to say this out loud to the people and to you. I thank you for being there for me.
Oh, friend.
When I have gotten my own way. I thank you.
But you were there for me. Just think of me crying on the couch. Just stupid. Like, that's what friends are for. We're supposed to check each other and get out your own head. So I love you. And when I don't use the word friend too lightly.
Yeah, we don't use that word around here.
Not many people can come into my house. You know that's real. In the pandemic.
And Sherry and Kyra and they have all told us like what y'all doing.
You didn't have Tangerine, Chandra, smug people. You didn't have them all. So, but I do appreciate you. And I thank you for that. That's still my bucket for today. So everybody, we are coming to the end of the show. We appreciate you all for tuning in, and I do just want to let you know that this is the first show where Marty finished her drink before me.
I
did, and we only had one drink apiece.
I won't be next week.
It probably won't because I won't be drinking on Saturday, so I can fully indulge on Sunday. So remember, as always, we tell you all the pandemic is still here. People are still dying. Michigan is number one.
I don't know what y'all done did out here. I don't know.
Shut up, Anthony. I don't even know you.
Anthony, I am not drunk.
I wonder why too.
The pandemic is still out here. I don't know what y'all did in Michigan. I love you too, Anthony. I don't know what y'all did in Michigan, but the virus is here. Okay, we have been asked to, kind of quarantine, stay away from dining restaurants for the next 2 weeks from our governor, just so we can try to flatten the curve. The hospitals are filling up, guys. Please, let's still be mindful that this pandemic is still active, is still going on, and we want all of you to be safe and come back and kick it here with us on Sundays and every other day. But just take care. Be careful. And as always, we want you to
go buy some cheese pressed nails.
Wash your hands and wear your mask.
I didn't know what I was going to say.
If that ain't capitalism,
I forgot my line. Sorry. My line is, please don't forget to wear your mask and wash them if they're reusable.
Wash your hands. And if all those fails,
buy some cheese pressed nails.
While making a shake and enjoy drink. See y'all next week.
See y'all. I totally forgot.